Hey guys, it's Nolan. It's Tuesday, 21st of July, 2022. Just have a quick look if we've got any news coming out overnight. So today's Tuesday. No, we don't. We did have some news earlier, some CAD news. Came out better than expected. So seeing a little bit of strength in the Canadian dollar market this afternoon since that news came out. But otherwise tomorrow, if you're up bright and early, we've got some news at 7 a.m. Of course, that's UK time from the UK. That's going to involve the Great British Pound CPI year-on-year news, and we've got some CAD news 1:30 p.m. and Fed Chair Powell speaking 2:30. So even more CAD news tomorrow. Right, so nothing overnight. So we can have a little look at some charts of interest. Now, Mark covered this in our last video. I just want to give you a little bit of an update. Mark suggested a buy stop actually above this doji candle here. Now that is still valid. So let me just put that in. So basically a buy stop above that candle. Your stop would go below the low, and then you could target towards the top of the structure here. Now, if you place that, it hasn't got triggered, and we've got this inside candle here. So you can keep that trade as what we call a resting order. Alternatively, you could look for a morning star pattern to form. Now that would mean waiting for a little bit more confirmation before you actually place a trade. So basically a morning star pattern is a 3 candlestick pattern, which is where you see sellers basically leave the market and buyers come into the market. So, you know, for instance, this one here, 1, 2, 3, that would be a lovely morning star pattern because we've got the sellers there and then the buyers start to come in. It's almost like throwing a ball on the floor and watching it bounce. You'd be looking for the same thing here. So you'd be looking for a bit more of a commitment from the buyers to come in, and you'd be looking for a decent bullish close, put it that way, and then you'd be putting your buy stop above that candle. But you know, that's for the slightly more conservative traders, shall we say. Now, I mean, that's the end of day trade. If you're an intraday trader, well, you can start looking for higher highs and higher lows on the smaller time frame. Now, on this 1 hour time frame, you can see that the momentum is not really doing much at all. In fact, I would say there's an equal amount of buyers and sellers right at this moment in time. So, you know, if you're an intraday trader, there's nothing to do on this market, but you can start looking for price to make higher highs, higher lows, or you could, for instance, start to look for moving averages to open up and be in the correct order. You can see the moving averages are flat in this case. What you're looking for, you know, if you want to buy, is you're looking for your moving averages to start opening up and price to move in and out of those averages. So those of you who watch my videos and know, you know, anything on the 1 hour time frame or below, I like to use an 8 moving average here in black, a 20 moving average here in blue, and a 50 moving average here in red. And you can see prices moving in and out of the averages, making higher highs, higher lows. So maybe you want to wait, if you're an intraday trader, maybe you want to wait for price to start behaving like this and the moving averages in the correct order. But it's certainly one to keep an eye on. Right at this moment in time though, there's nothing right now, but that doesn't mean to say that you know, we're going to see that buying momentum. But you know, we don't know. It could still, you know, crash through the bottom, but you've got to look at the bigger picture and respect the fact that we've had support here, support here, support. This potentially could be support again. So the probability says that it will push to the upside. How you trade that is going to be dependent on you. So the buy stop above this candle here as an end of day trade. If you want to be a bit more conservative, wait for a wait for a decent bullish candle here to confirm the buying momentum and a buy stop above that. If you're an intraday trader, start looking for the smaller time frames to make higher highs, higher lows, and potentially use some moving averages to help you decide, you know, is this worth trading? You want to see consistent higher highs, higher lows. This is on the 30-minute time frame, by the way, guys. So you could equally use a smaller time frame if you want to. You could use an hourly time frame. You know, you can see moving averages in the correct order here. They have to be in that correct order for an uptrend. The 8 moving average, exponential moving average, I should say, would need to be above the 20, and 20 would need to be up the 50 with angle and separation. So they're pointing in the direction of the trade, and they've got separation between the moving averages. So yeah, that little bit of an update for Aussie Swiss. And there's a few CAD pairs here. We were talking about CAD earlier, weren't we? CAD was we had a little bit of CAD news earlier, which we saw some CAD strength because it was better news than is expected. But there's some interesting CAD trades here where technically we'd be looking to buy these. Now that would mean looking for CAD strength. So if something happens, and we do have CAD news tomorrow, don't we? 1:30 p.m. UK time, CPI news. So if we get some bad news there, we could start to see the market start to turn around. Now this one, pound CAD, looks pretty interesting. We've got this great level here. This is the weekly, monthly time frame. Great level here, around about 155 so far. You've got to also realize that this is nine days before it closes, but this is a nice reaction here on the monthly candle. So, you know, I'd be looking for longs on this because we're potentially bouncing off this support here. Now, when you go down into the 4 hourly, I'm just going to take those averages off for a second. You know, what potentially you've got here is your traditional flag pattern or flag correction, which is what's called a continuation pattern, meaning you would expect price to break in the same direction as the impulse that preceded it. So if we're looking at this is our impulse, this is our correction, you know, you'd be expecting price to break to the upside. Now look at the strength of buying here, look at the strength of the selling here. So totally different. The strength is with the buyers. This to me is more corrective, and you would be expecting price to break to the upside. So the fact that we've come off this big monthly support level at 155.50, you know, even better. So start looking at pound CAD, looking for this to break to the upside. Whether you do it on the 1 hourly, 4 hourly, you can see this is kind of trickling down. Nothing really to look at here. I think that the bigger move is to the upside. Now, I mean, that doesn't mean you can't look to trade this if you don't mind trading against the trend, but you need to have a solid strategy if you're going to do that. You can see the price action is very messy here. Pretty tough to trade, really. So yeah, I'll be kind of waiting out this market and looking for the buy setup, because I believe that that is where the bigger momentum wants to push to the upside. So nothing at the moment. Let me just have a little look at the daily. Sorry, that's the 4 hour. I mean, if you want to, guys, you could actually place a, remember, you've got the news tomorrow, but if we've got this bullish momentum here, we've got what we believe to be a correction here. What you could actually do is potentially place a buy stop above this bearish candle and the stop loss below, looking for that momentum to come to fruition. I can't think of a better word. And you know, we've got a nice bit of resistance here, so you could even target before that zone and still get a 2.27, 2.28. If you want to go right in there, you know, you could be looking at a 2.75, but you know, if you want to come out before that zone, you know, could be talking 2.27. So that's really good. You know, you're going to, if that actually works out, you're going to more than double your risk. So that's something you can consider if you're an end of day trader. Could this drop down a little bit more? Well, it could. We could be forming an inverse head and shoulder pattern. I'm just looking at this little bit of support here where we could still come back into that zone. So if we do continue down this trade and this trade doesn't get triggered in, we could be looking for a morning star pattern here on the daily, or we could start looking for buyers as soon as price comes into this 158 zone. Nice big number. Often the market will bounce or react around big numbers. So 158 could be interesting to watch as well. But I don't see the harm in putting that trade on as an end of day trade. But if we do get into 158, I am going to put a little alert there. Then that will be a very interesting place to watch for buyers. Aussie CAD, Kiwi CAD. I like these because of the, I like these for longs, I should say, because of the MACD divergence on the weekly time frame. So we've got a nice little bit of support here, and you know, I can see this divergence with price. Price actually made a lower low here, as you can see, but higher low on the MACD. So that is telling me that potentially this move down, or any moves down here, doesn't have the strength to continue. And the fact that we're coming or bouncing off this level around about 89, even better. So I'll be looking for longs on this on a smaller time frame. I don't believe there's really a trade, not at the moment. Lovely bit of divergence here on the daily as well. Look guys, we've got a low, lower low, low, higher low, and what potentially this is an impulse, and this is a correction forming. So very much like pound CAD. So we've got pound CAD, we've got Aussie CAD, potentially looking for longs on those. So that could mean that we're going to see some weakness in the CAD. Kiwi CAD is actually one of my favorites at the moment, and I like it because same thing, looking for longs on this. Got this nice weekly support here. We bounced, but last week we got this beautiful bullish engulfing candle. There's different definitions of bullish or engulfing candles, I should say. The definition that I use is that if it's a bullish engulfing candle, it's broken the high and the low of the previous candle, and it's also closed above the high of the previous candle, and that is exactly what this has done here. So we've broken the high already. So if you're a weekly chart trader, if you like, if you traded the weekly time frame, you'd be along this market already, but and you'd be looking for something like this, because what I'm expecting is price to at least come back up towards this trend line here. Now, it's not often that, you know, traders will trade the weekly time frame, but we'll look at that time frame to give us an indication of what potentially could happen on the smaller time frames. So this weekly bullish engulfing candle is suggesting that we could see some upside on this market, similar to Aussie CAD, similar to pound CAD. So just keep your eyes on this. It is actually coming into a nice area as we speak, because we've got this resistance here which is broken. It hasn't been retested, around about 81.80, and you don't really want to get involved at the moment. You want to wait till we start seeing the buyers take control of the market. Okay, again, look for higher highs, higher lows on a smaller time frame. Use moving averages. You know, this is the hourly. We want to see them in a bullish order, which would be, just to show you again, like this: 8 above the 20, 20 above the 50 with angle and separation. Not getting that at the moment. In fact, we're in the wrong order. actually in the order for a downtrend. So this potentially is still correcting, and when I say correcting, it's correcting this bullish engulfing candle here. All that momentum there, this here to me is just a correction of this bullish move, and then we should, in theory, start to see buyers come in. So just keep your eyes on this one, because that could be a very, very nice move, you know, up towards at least 84, I would say, but certainly towards this descending trend line. Okay, because we've had this huge momentum here, we've bounced, we've moved back up because we've got a little bit of support there, we've retested it, come back down, broke the low, and eventually essentially I should say, we've found a bottom here. Okay, and we're going to push to the upside. So yeah, I like Kiwi CAD for longs, as well as Aussie CAD, as well as Pound CAD, but we're just waiting for that confirmation in price before we start trading, because at the end of the day we could be wrong. The technical analysis suggests that we should be looking for longs, so I'll be looking for longs, but I will be waiting until we get the relevant price action. Last market I want to have a look at is Euro Yen. Yen's been yen pair has been having a nice little move to the upside today, so that means yen weakness. Okay, yen is always the second part of the currency pair, and because these markets have all gone up, as you can see they're green, that means that the Japanese yen has been basically weak. It's been weaker than all of the these currencies here. So euro yen, I mean, look at all the euro pairs really, but euro yen is one of interest. Euro's been pretty strong today. I could see price moving to the upside and breaking this high here, or at least testing it, because it's in a structure making higher highs, higher lows. We've broken this trend line here. It would make sense that we would test this high, or at least break it, and then maybe start to reverse. So what I would say to you is, again, you know, smaller time frame, you could use your moving averages to give you an idea of what's going on. Now these moving averages on the hourly, this is exactly what I'm looking for, you know, on those CAD pairs. These moving averages are in the correct order to buy on the smaller time frames. We've got the 8 above the 20, 20 above the 50, and price is moving in and out of the averages, and you know it's pushing to the upside. What I would like to see is price, if I was trading the 1 hourly, I'd like to see price interact with that 20 moving average, and I want to see a morning star pattern, which preferably then closes above the 8 moving average. That's how I would trade the 1 hourly. 4 hourly, I just on the 4 hourly I only use the 8 moving average and 20. Look at this price action here. This is the 8 moving average again. You can see it's literally coming into that 8 moving average, bouncing. So if you're a 4 hour trader, you want to see it come towards this 8 moving average and then start to move away again, and then that would be your cue to buy. But if we basically, that pullback there into the 8 moving average there is basically on the 1 hourly a pullback into the 20 moving average there. So you can trade it on the 4 hour, trade it on the hourly, but yeah, looking to get long on this market, and first targets would be the previous swing high, second targets would be the top of structure here. So guys, hope you enjoyed that, hope it made sense. If you got any questions, drop them in the description, into the comment section I should say. Listen, if you're not subscribed, please subscribe to our channel, that would be brilliant. Give us a like. If you know any other traders as well that may benefit from our analysis, please share with them. Please share the video. So from me and the team, have a great rest of your day, and we will see you again in the next video. Take care. Bye.